Welcome back to NCERT Learning. It's me Benasakari. So once again, welcome to NCERT series. So this class is mainly meant for those people who are preparing for CTET examination. And we have started an NCERT series, and we have completed 2 chapters. And now we are discussing the third chapter, and the remaining portion of the third chapter is discussed in this particular class. Hope you have all heard that CTET examination is going to be held as soon as possible. So be prepared. And so let's start the chapter. So listen, the last class we are discussing about vitamins and minerals, which are also very essential for the growth and development of our body. So now vitamins A, B, C and D. You know that vitamins A, B, E, K belong to fat soluble vitamins, whereas B and C are water soluble vitamins. Now vitamins A, B1, C and D and those minerals, that is calcium, iodine and iron, are the 2 groups of food components that protect our body from various diseases. So vitamins and minerals protect our body from various diseases. Which are the vitamins? That is vitamin A, B1, C and D, as well as certain minerals like calcium, iron and iodine, etc. And how can we overcome vitamin and mineral deficiency diseases or disorders? How can we overcome? By consuming those food items which are rich in vitamins and minerals, we can overcome those deficiency diseases related to vitamins as well as minerals. That is, food components that provide energy, support growth, help repair and protect our body from diseases and maintain various bodily functions are called nutrients. So what are known as nutrients? That is those food components which provides energy, which supports growth and which helps to repair and protect our body from diseases and also maintains various bodily functions, and they are termed as nutrients. And the major nutrients in our food include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. So have you understood? Those food components that provides energy and that helps us to grow and that repair and protect our body and also helps to maintain our bodily functions. Those food components are said to be nutrients. And those nutrients in a food include mainly carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins and fats, vitamins and minerals. So carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. We have already studied all these facts in the earlier classes. Now we are just saying what is meant by nutrients, and those which we studied in the early classes, those food components, they belong to the group nutrients. And here of this vitamins and minerals, they are called protective nutrients. Vitamins and minerals are said to be protective nutrients. Why they called as protective nutrients? Because these nutrients protect our body from diseases and help us to keep our body healthy. So those nutrients which helps us to protect from which protects us from diseases and help us to stay healthy. Those nutrients are called protective nutrients, and they are vitamins and minerals. That's why your parents advise you to take or consume milk, green vegetables, fruits and whole grains regularly because they are some source of vitamins. So some certain source of vitamins are milk, green leafy vegetables, fruits, whole grains, etc. And now, although vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts, they are essential to keep our body healthy. So as compared to carbohydrates, proteins and fats, vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts. Even then, they are very essential to keep our body healthy because they protect our body from diseases as well as keep our body healthy. So now, what is the difference that is you observing in raw and cooked vegetables? That is, what is the difference you observe in raw and cooked vegetables? That is, have you noticed any fact, that is anything when there is vegetables while cooking? After cooking, vegetables becomes lose their bright color or becomes softer and less crisp when cooked. So when cooked or when that is totally that vegetables which are in raw which are taken in raw and those which are taken in cooked, that is those vegetables are taken in cooked. When the vegetables are taken in cooked as well as in raw, if the vegetables are taken cooked as well as raw, these two vegetables, these two methods of taking in vegetables, they are two entirely different. That is consuming this type, that is vegetables in raw as well as in cooked way, the taste as well as the nutrients in those will be different. That is, while cooking these vegetables, we can notice that their color becomes little bit deep. They lose their bright color and they become soft and their crispness will be lost. That is, as while cooking, that is, for example, certain vitamins, that is, while cooking certain vegetables as well as vegetables, certain vitamins are lost while due to high heat. So while cooking, the vitamins, that is nutrients like vitamin C, are lost during cooking, and that is due to high heat. So those vegetables which are rich in vitamin C, nutrients vitamin C, while they are cooked well. So moving to the next one, that is vitamins and minerals. So we were discussing vitamins and minerals. Now we have to understand what is the importance of vitamins and minerals in our food. The vitamins, that is vitamin A, B1, C and D, and those minerals, that is calcium, iron and iodine, are the two groups of components that protect our body from various diseases. So we have to understand which are the major components of food that protect our body from various diseases. That is, vitamins and minerals protects our body from diseases. Which are the major vitamins? That is vitamin A, B1, C and D, as well as those minerals, that is calcium, iodine and iron, are the two groups of components that are very essential to protect our body from various diseases. And how can we overcome this vitamin and mineral deficient diseases? That is, by consuming those food items which are rich in vitamins and minerals, we can overcome the particular deficiency diseases. Then here to note the point, food components that provide energy, support growth, help repair and protect your body from diseases and maintain various bodily functions are called nutrients. So what is nutrients? Those food components which provide us energy as well as we support the growth, which also helps us to repair and protect our body from those diseases and maintains various bodily functions, they are said to be nutrients. And with the major nutrients in the food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, then vitamins and minerals. So, have you understood what mean by nutrients? That is, nutrients are those food components which provide us energy and which supports growth, and it also helps us to repair, protect our body from diseases, and also maintain various bodily functions. And those nutrients present in food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, as well as vitamins and minerals. Here you have to note the point, vitamins and minerals. Those are called protective nutrients. Vitamins and minerals are said to be protective nutrients. Why are they said so? Because these nutrients protect our body from various diseases and keep our body healthy. So vitamins and minerals protect our body from various diseases and maintain our health. So they are said to be protective nutrients. So it is why your parents are advising you to consume milk, green vegetables, fruits and whole grains which are rich source of vitamins as well as minerals. Here you have to consider one more fact that even though vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts, they are also very essential for maintaining your body health. So vitamins and minerals are required in small quantities or in small amounts, and they are very essential for keeping our body healthy. Then next one, what's the difference between consuming raw and cooked vegetables? That is, which we are consuming raw vegetables. What is the difference there? That is, while consuming cooked vegetables, you might have noticed that it becomes soft and its crispness must be lost. Crispness lost, and one more thing is its color also it becomes a little bit pale in color. So here you have to understand the fact that while cooking certain food items which contain nutrients like vitamin C, they are lost during cooking. So if you are consuming that food items which are cooked, and you will not get that particular nutrient or particular vitamins, as these are lost during cooking due to high heat. So vitamin C is such a type of nutrient which are lost during cooking due to high heat. So you have to understand the fact that it's very good to consume or take vegetables and fruits rawly as well. That is, it is better to take vegetables and fruits in raw. That is, while cooking, certain vitamins are lost due to high heat. And next one is, you have to keep in mind is, that is, while consuming this raw vegetables and fruits, you have to wash it thoroughly for its consumption. And one more thing is that if you are cutting and keeping this keeping these vegetables and fruits for a long time before consuming, then what happens? those vitamins are lost while keeping in such a position. It is those vegetables and fruits, if you are cutting them and keeping it for a long time, then also there is a chance of losing that particular vitamins. So you have to keep in mind these facts while taking vegetables and fruits. Okay. Now, fruits and vegetables. Now we have moving to the fruits and vegetables. They are rich in vitamins and minerals. And these fruits and vegetables also are rich in dietary fibers. What do you mean by dietary fibers and how are they beneficial for us? So the dietary fibers is, that is, in addition to essential nutrients, our body also needs dietary fibers and as well as water. So in addition to nutrients, we have body also requires dietary fibers as well as water. Then what is means dietary fibers? They are known as roughage. Dietary fibers are known as roughage. What is roughage? That is, this roughage doesn't provide any nutrient to our food. No, sorry, nutrients to our body. Dietary fibers or roughage do not provide any nutrients to our body. What is its purpose consuming such dietary fibers? That is, it becomes an essential component of our food. In this case, that it helps our body to get rid of this undigested food as well as to ensure the smooth passage of stools. So, while consuming dietary, only when we are consuming dietary fibers or roughage, we are able to get rid of this undigested food as well as the smooth passage of stools is also possible. So that is the purpose of taking roughage or dietary fibers in our diet. So that is, roughage in our food is provided mainly by suitable plant products. So from where does we get this roughage or dietary fibers? From plant products we can consume this dietary fibers or roughage. So that is what mentioned here. Now, then you have studied that roughage. Now, what are the sources of roughage? Which are the good source of roughage? That is, already mentioned that fruits and vegetables, that is green leafy vegetables, fresh fruits, whole grains, pulses and nuts are also good source of roughage. So keep in mind. Now, next one we are going to study about, that is, we told that this fruits and vegetables as well as they are rich in dietary fibers. We have dietary fibers, and we have to also keep in mind that in addition to this essential nutrients, we have to take the dietary fibers as well as water. Now coming to water is also an essential part of our diet. And what is the purpose of consuming or drinking water? That is, the main purpose of drinking water is, that is, it helps us to absorb the nutrients from the food. So nutrients from food can be absorbed only with the help of water. So if you are not consuming or you are not drinking water, the nutrients will not be properly absorbed by body, or by the nutrients in food cannot be absorbed easily by our body if you are not drinking water. So water is essential to keep our body absorbed, essential for our body to absorb nutrients from food. Then it also removes waste from the body in the form of urine and sweat. So waste is also removed in the form of sweat and urine with the help of this water. So that is what is the importance of water. And for that purpose, you have to drink sufficient water regularly to keep your body healthy. That is what mentioned here. Next one, we are moving to look into certain tests or experiments done to test different components of food. So first test is meant to test for starch. How can we detect the presence of starch in a particular food component? Here, take small quantity of food items such as slice of potato, cucumber, bread and some boiled rice or boiled gram. Example, that is, take some food items, mainly a slice of potato, it can be a cucumber or bread, and you have to keep keep the particular piece of item on a separate dish. Place a small piece of each item on a separate dish. If you are taking potato, you have to keep the potato in a separate dish, cucumber in a separate dish and bread in a separate dish. With the help of a dropper, put 2 or 3 drops of dilute iodine solution on each food item. So with the help of a dropper, you have to drop 2 or 3 drops of iodine solution on each food item. Yes, diluted iodine solution. Then, can you observe any color change in these food items? Have they turned blue, black? Yes, you can see a blue-black color indicates there. So here, these food items, they changed their color and they became a blue-black color. And that blue-black color indicates that there is a presence of starch in the particular food component. So, presence of starch can be done by means of an iodine, by using this iodine solution. And by using this dilute iodine solution, we can conclude that those food items which show a blue-black color, and that those food items they show indicates the presence of what? Starch. So that is what mentioned in that particular test. Next one, test for fats. So in this test for fats, here a small part of the food item is taken that you tested for the presence of starch. Which food item which have tested for starch? That particular food item is also used for here for the presence of for diagnosing the presence of fat. Then here place the food item in a separate piece of paper. Then wrap the paper around the food and press it. Be careful not to tear the paper. So if you are taking particular food, that means we have here in the next above example, we have here also the oil, butter, crushed coconut also we have taken for the particular test. Here let us take oil for this particular test. Here oil is kept on a separate piece of paper and you have wrapped the particular paper around the food and press it. Be careful not to tear the paper. That is, if you are taking this particular food item, that is crushed peanuts, oil, butter, etc. also taken for this particular test. Let us take crushed peanuts. So if you are taking the crushed peanuts and keeping it in a separate piece of paper, wrap the paper around the food and press it. You have to be careful not to tear the particular paper. Then if the food item contains a little water, allow the paper to dry. Then remain the paper for something. What you can observe there? If oil or butter is present in the food item, it leaves an oil patch on the paper. That is, if oil or butter is present on a particular food item, that paper will be having a oily patch. Now hold the paper against light. You can see a faint and shining through this patch. So this oil patch on the paper shows that the food items contain fat. So that is a test for fat. Have you understood? Next one, that is test for proteins. Here the same food items are used for this also purpose. And here make a paste or powder of food item using pestle or mortar. So using a mortar, make a paste or powder of this particular food item. Then put about half teaspoon of each food item in a separate clean test tube. You have to put this half part of this powdered food item in each test tube. Half teaspoon of each food item in separate clean test tube. And add 2 to 3 teaspoons of water to each test tube and shake well. So then after adding this powder, the powder food item, add 2 to 3 teaspoons of water in each test tube and shake well. Then add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution to each test tube using a dropper. Then you have to add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and that too using a dropper. Then now next, take another dropper and add 10 drops of caustic soda solution to it. First you have to add this particular powder, then you have to add 2 or 3 teaspoons of water, then you have to add copper sulfate solution, 2 drops of copper sulfate solution, then you have to add 10 drops of caustic solution to each of these test tube. Then shake well and leave the test tubes undisturbed for a few minutes. What you can observe? Did any of the content of the test tubes turn violet? Here, if you have noticed a violet color, that is violet color indicates the presence of proteins in the food item. So you have to understand if the food item indicates a violet color, food item shows a violet color and the violet color indicates the presence of proteins. So from the conclusion, we can understand that certain food items shows both the presence of proteins and fats. Here, they indicate any food which may contain multiple nutrients. Some foods may contain multiple nutrients. So some food will contain a particular nutrient only. So in the above case, we have studied the test for starch, where we used dilute iodine solution for the particular experiment, and we received a blue-black color, and that indicates the presence of starch. Now, in the second case, for the presence of fat, we have done an experiment, and here this oily appearance remains as about the presence of fat in the particular food item. Next, in the third case, it was a test for proteins. Here we got a violet color, and this violet color indicates the presence of proteins in the particular food item. Then what is going to be balanced diet? That is, all nutritional requirements of type and amount of nutrients in a diet may vary according to age, gender, physical quality, health status, lifestyle, and so on. So that is, according to the age, gender, physical activity, health status, the type and amount of nutrients we consume in a diet may vary. Even then, what is maybe a balanced diet? A diet should have all essential nutrients, a rough weight and water in the right amount for proper growth and development of body is known as balanced diet. So what is a balanced diet? That is a diet which contains all essential nutrients, roughage and water. That is all essential nutrients, roughage and water should be contained in the right amount for proper growth and development of body, and that type of diet is known as balanced diet. So that is balanced diet. Here, milk is a balanced diet. Now, for example, some foods have high calories due to high sugar and fat content. So let's look whether all requires or contains the same amount of nutrients as well as the nutrients. That is, we have studied the balanced diet should contain all the essential nutrients, roughage as well as water in the right amount, and that is true for a proper growth and development of the body. But if you are consuming, for example, if you are taking this in case of potato wafers and roasted chana, you can differentiate the amount of vitamins, proteins, minerals and dietary fibers from the particular package. And these foods, they contain those proteins, vitamins, minerals and dietary fibers in less amounts or low amounts, and so they are called junk foods. So these foods, that is potato wafers, candy bars and carbonated drinks, while we are consuming such foods, it is not very good for our health. It is very bad for our health. That means this makes persons obese. Obesity becomes that is condition resulting in obesity occurs. That is, these person may suffer from severe health problems because they are consuming those food items which doesn't have or which contains only very low amounts of proteins, vitamins, minerals, and dietary fibers. So consuming those foods are not good for our health. So that is what mentioned in particular chapter. Next one, millets. What is nutrition-rich cereals? That is, millets means they are native crops of India. That is, example, jowar, bajra, ragi and sandwa are the native crops of India. They are cultivated in different climatic conditions. That is, they are highly nutritious grains and they are known as millets. So those highly nutritious grains grown in India are known as millets, and they are small sized grains and they have been an integral part of Indian diet for centuries. They are small sized grains. They are small sized grains, but even they are in small size. They are good source of vitamins, minerals like iron, calcium, and dietary fibers as well. So that is the reason they are known as nutri-cereals. So they are known as nutri-cereals because they are rich source of vitamins, minerals like iron, calcium, as well as dietary fibers. So they are required. These millets are to be consumed in our diet. So that is what mentioned here. So what is nutri-cereals means? These millets are known as nutri-cereals because they contain vitamins, minerals like iron, calcium, dietary fibers as well as. And these highly nutritious grains are very good for our health. They are small size grains, but they are very good for our health. Now, food miles from farm to a plate. That is how food reaches from a farm to a plate. It is a farmer grows wheat. Then after threshing and winnowing of grains, then grains are stored in particular places. From there, they are grinding of grains, then packing. Then what happens? Then they are removed or transported to retail shop. From there, we are getting that food items and we cook that food on and we consume it. That is the way how food reaches our home. That is from farm to our plate. So the entire distance traveled by a bag of wheat or any food item from the producer to consumer is known as food miles. What is food mile? It is the entire distance traveled by a bag of wheat or any other food item from the producer to consumer. That is known as food miles. Reducing food miles is important because it helps to cut down the cost and pollution during transport. It helps support local farmers and it also keeps our food fresh and healthier. So, entire distance traveled by a bag of wheat or any food item from the producer to consumer is known as food miles. And these food miles have to be reduced. So, for what? So, to cut down the cost and pollution during this transport, it helps to support the local farmers and also to keep our food fresher and healthier. So, that is what discussed in a particular chapter. Have you understood the following terms? So, it's finished. So, these are the contents which are mainly explained in the particular chapter, and these have to be taken into consideration while considering balanced diet while consuming food. Which are the factors you have to understand, which are the factors you have to keep in mind while consuming those food items. What is the difference between what is the test for different nutrients. That's all what discussed in particular chapter. Hope you have understood. Is it clear for you? Then we shall move to the next chapter, next class. Till then, bye for me. Thank you.